we're going to roll into game number 5 right now. He's got to beat Greensheep in this 5th and final game. These two have been going back and forth. Look like they're pretty evenly matched here, and we're going to find out who's taking home the win tonight as we close out the week. Powder versus Greensheep. And that feels like advantage to Greensheep. I don't know where this deck came from, but boy, is that a good choice.
I know you guys can't see me right now, but I just had a big surprise look on my face because, you know, I can see maybe Powder playing Freeze Mage, but Greensheep?
Greensheep.
Greensheep.
Yeah, he's brought Freeze Mage this one. I wonder if he's got a sheep in here.
Greensheep. I mean, come on. I wonder if he's got a sheep in here, like if it's Era's deck.
Well, no, just, you know, sometimes Freeze Mage plays exposed to sheep.
Yeah,
it's pretty rare. I remember I was torn to put it in because I was like, oh, I have to take out Anti-Keelbot. Anti-Keelbot ended up staying. Explosive Trap that's pretty darn dead this game.
It's almost never going to trigger.
That one looks miserable in this opening hand. And now Powder actually has some real decisions in front of him. He can coin out this Knife Juggler on turn 1, but then he loses turn 3, turn 4 Shredder. Just going to go with Abusive Sergeant. I actually don't mind this. He does sacrifice it to the hero power, but that will buy him a little bit of time. He doesn't know what matchup this is yet.
Yeah, I was supposed to say, he doesn't know what matchup this is.
Well, he does now.
Well, here's the thing, too. It's Greensheep. You have to believe that if it's Greensheep, he's playing something like Mech Mage or something like that. So if you take their turn 2 away from them, it's actually like pretty decent most of the time. You know, if you just get the hero power from them.
Yep. So Greensheep. Ice Barrier, normally not a very strong draw, but in these aggressive matchups, this card is very key to keeping your life total high.
I like this play from him too. You know, if he wants to run this over the Knife Juggler, then he gets to just hero power it next turn, even though he doesn't have much of a turn after that on turn 4.
So he's going to run it over, and now he's the one with the Knife Juggler stealing damage, and that Loot Hoarder pickup is pretty darn important.
Yeah, it's going to give him a great turn 4 here.
Yeah, anytime that this deck can continue to make headway and do stuff at the same time, that's really where this deck becomes so unstoppable. When this deck hits a curve, it almost feels like it's unbeatable.
I was just about to say, if this deck uses all of its mana every turn, it's really hard to lose.
It certainly is, because if they're using all their mana, it means they've got a lot of good plays.
Yeah.
This isn't one of those decks where if you're using all your mana, a lot of times you're struggling to try to keep up with the game. You know, there are some decks that don't want to be using their mana in the early turns.
Couple good options for him this turn. If he wants to use the Frostbolt to kind of slow things down, he might be able to trade, you know, Frostbolt and Loot Hoarder for one of these Pilot Shredders and get a card off of it. You know, he can even draw some cards of Arcane Intellect, start to set some of his traps.
Step number 1 is going to be get some more information. Pyroblast, dead card for a long time, and even more information. Armorsmith, you got to be happy to see the 1/4s.
Yeah, you got to be happy to see something that's not going to have a huge impact on the game. Powder kind of giggles about that one. Thanks.
Hey, it was actually kind of funny. Maybe it extends his life total too much.
Well, the thing is, he doesn't have a lot of ways to abuse it, like a warrior deck would.
Powder's just like Cruel Taskmaster, Grim Patron, Enrage Whirlwind. You're like, what?
What just happened?
You're supposed to have animal companions. 4/4 is
Yeah,
not
out of
bad.
nowhere, he's just like Unstable Ghoul, Grim Patron. You're like, what is this? Because those cards actually are neutral. It'd just be like, oh my god, what just happened? They'd just be like, all right, Blizzard you, kill you. But
So still a lot of work for Greensheep to do. You know, despite how good his early turns were, Powder's just had the beef in his deck for these early turns. The double Piloted Shredder followed up by an Animal Companion. This is a lot to deal with.
well, yeah, he's had a pretty decent draw considering he's got an Explosive Trap and an Unleash the Hounds in his hand, cards that are normally very bad in this matchup.
Very bad is pretty much an understatement. Your opponent basically never attacks you. They usually don't have minions on the board. I like the Blizzard here, but at the same time, I understand why he doesn't want to do it.
He really needed an Emperor that turn pretty badly.
Yeah. You know, stopping 9 damage, putting a little bit of pressure on this board so you can continue to close it out. That's an Arcane Golem, so Powder actually has some pretty good reach in here. You know, this tells me there's not stuff like Ragnaros. There's not going to be stuff like Dr. Boom. He's just going to have the end game push.
Yeah, he's got a little more of an aggressive build, not as much as the top end as we've seen some of these Hunter decks having.
Second Blizzard is a great pickup.
He will still take some damage. You know, the minion out of the Pilot Shredder will not be frozen.
It's going to be pink first.
Well, Noatron, not terrible. If you're gonna get a one power minion, that one at least could live through a couple things here.
Right. The big story of this one though is that Greensheep is making a lot of headway now. He's prevented a ton of the damage. The Shredder drops weren't too important. He's at 21 with an ice block down.
Yeah, he's gonna have to ping the Noatron next turn and couple it with Blizzard. And Powder, if he puts this Arcane Golem into play as well, it's just another card that gets swept up in a Blizzard.
This is honestly, this is a pretty tough spot for Powder, and this is just really all he's got left to do. He has to play this Arcane Golem and hope that there's not the AoE behind it.
Yeah, and if Greensheep had a slightly different hand,
it's going to hold off, it looks like.
Yeah, he's not going to play the Arcane Golem. If Greensheep had a slightly different hand versus this Arcane Golem, he could get super aggressive, drop Alexstrasza, and then possibly kill Powder the next turn.
Yep. So Arcane Golem coming down, and this is going to cripple Powder's assault. Greensheep is down to 10, but again, he's sitting under Ice Block right now. Feels like he's got all the time in the world.
Let's say if he hadn't used that Frostbolt, this could have been a turn where he could have really pushed it.
Now he's actually looking at that though with the Fireball draw. How likely is it that my opponent pops the Ice Block this turn? Well, it's pretty darn likely.
Yeah, I like that. He took his time there because that's one of the draws in his deck that can pause you and make you think, oh wait, maybe I have a chance to win here.
The big story here too is that the extra 9 armor, pretty relevant.
Yeah, Powder's up to 39.
Just pinging Mad Scientist.
Yeah, he's got to hold on to Ironbeak Owl almost the entire game because there's so many things Greensheep he needs to stop out of Greensheep's deck. Archmage Antonidas if he can't answer it.
With second Ice Block, you may be seeing the
Alex.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's actually that might have just sealed the game. Because unless they have Freezing Trap, how do they answer your Alex? If you ever get 8 damage off Alex, how do you lose? He's gonna forego that this turn though. Oh, there's no way he does it next turn though.
Well, Archmage is hitting the board. This is
actually
This is a 5/7 taunt right now.
We've seen this happen before in a game. This is something you actually want to do here. You want to play the Archmage because Powder has to interact with this card or it's going to kill him. So it's almost like it has taunt. I mean, he can't just ignore this card.
No, you absolutely cannot. It will end the game.
And you're going to get 0 fireballs off of it, and you're perfectly okay with that.
What a strange card.
He's thinking about it. Greensheep, it's correct. Yeah. There you go.
Greensheep feeling through this matchup right, and rightfully so, taking his time. This game is looking very tight right now. And Powder kind of almost struggling to get damage through. He does have the Ironbeak Owl in this spot, so he's going to be able to pop Ice Block now. And now this is the Alex, bringing Greensheep back up to 15. Powder's got to get 15 damage with this hand.
That's going to be pretty difficult.
Sets the explosive trap, so this will prevent Greensheep from attacking with the Archmage directly to his face.
He might, maybe not. I don't think there's any way he does it. Don't attack Greensheep. Do not attack his face, Greensheep. You die.
I have actually done this before. Where I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, I Alex myself and I live, and I was like,
oops.
Oh no.
I mean, everyone's made that one little blunder where they're just like, they know the whole turn and they sequence incorrectly. Yeah.
That happens to me all the time. Like in my head, I see the play, and in my mind, I've already made all the steps.
I saw the arrow come out of the Archmage Antonidas and I had a mini heart attack. I had a little mini heart attack.
Greensheep up to 15. Powder is not anywhere close to the reach right now.
I think Greensheep's counting it up to see if Ice Lance is, just better to freeze Powder here. Or actually just freezing, I was going to say the Mad Scientist here.
I think it's totally right. This will prevent Freezing Trap from coming out of the deck. Well, maybe it won't prevent Freezing Trap from coming out of the deck.
Oh, value off Unleash the Hounds. Sign me up.
So is starting to put together an assault again, and Greensheep's got 39 damage to chew through. This isn't a situation you typically find yourself in versus Hunter. Usually they're at 30, and a couple burn spells will finish them.
Yeah, he does have another Ice Block, but still, I mean, if he Freezing Traps here and you give him the Alex again, he can't cast it, but
11
he has to find an Emperor Thorson. But what if he's going to run the Archmage Antonidas in it, and then you're giving him an Archmage?
I don't think you have an option. You have to stop the damage.
You have to buy yourself the extra draw, yeah.
You can see Powder just pains to make this play. And that will stop basically everything.
If he's going to do that, if he's going to Flame Strike this turn, you should probably do it before you attack. Make sure you don't get an extra secret out of Powder's deck if he has any left over.
Oh, there's the explosive trap. Freezing trap likely to follow. Likely to follow. What am I saying? Of course it's going to follow. The Archmage doesn't die. I'm an idiot. I said freezing trap likely to follow, as if like he's got it in his hand. He's like, yeah, I'm going to freezing trap now.
Well, he's just going to trigger right after. I mean, I got what you meant. I was picking on what you're putting down.
You know, you talk for 36 episodes, is it now? You're gonna say some stupid stuff.
Yeah, you're a human being. I'm a robot.
No secrets in Powder stack. Greensheep's at 7, and Powder has to fight through an ice block, and Alex draws up Pyroblast and 2 fireballs. That's a dead one. Repetitive damage from Greensheep is going to end up winning this game. Maybe there's like a Keys in Mystic.
You just play it safe and Frost Nova here.
No, you do not. You Pyroblast. Pyroblast sets up lethal next turn. This is fine too. Double Fireball and ping.
Just 13 him.
Yep. Powder down to 1 single draw. I think it has to be Keys and Mystic, or he cannot win this game.
Yeah, this is the last draw he might have
Flare.
this season. I was going to say, in contention for the playoffs. That's not going to do it. It looks like Greensheep is going to win this match and eliminate Powder from playoff contention.
Wow, just a heartbreaker match. Just so close to winning it, and then Greensheep, you would never expect Freeze Mage out of this guy.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around this.
In game number 5, closes it out, and man, impressive play the full step of the way. A lot of good sequencing, able to fully utilize his opening draw. This is just, what can you say? I mean, This is Greensheep, despite his record, looking fantastic in his play.